somebody went to war with their own feelings over you. And I mean a real war, not a little crush they shook off, not a passing attraction they outgrew. They actively tried to destroy every trace of you inside their chest. They deleted photos. They stopped going places where you might be. They trained themselves not to check your name. They told their friends they were over it. They dated other people on purpose. They built an entire performance of moving on and sold it to everyone around them. And for a little while, they almost believed it themselves. And then something cracked. One small, stupid, insignificant thing reminded them of you, and the entire structure they built to forget you collapsed like it was made of paper, and now they're back. And they are humiliated by how back they are. Okay, so I literally had to stop what I was doing to record this because the energy on this one is not playing around. I'm Stella Love, Tarot with Stella. Subscribe if you're new because we stay busy around here. Real quick, only take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You know how we do. Now, let me get into this because, oh my gosh, I have been waiting to tell somebody this all day. Let me tell you who you are first. Because the reason this person couldn't get over you has everything to do with the kind of human you are and nothing to do with games you played or tricks you pulled. You don't do tricks. That's the whole point. You are one of those rare people who shows up exactly the same in every room, no performance, no adjustment, no reading the audience and shape-shifting to match what they want. Your coworkers get the same version of you that your closest friends get. Strangers get the same warmth that your family gets. You don't have a public self and a private self, you just have a self. And that consistency is so unusual that most people don't know what to do with it. It makes them trust you immediately and deeply, sometimes deeper than they intended to, because you feel safe in a way that catches them off guard. And here's the thing, you built that consistency from wreckage. You weren't born steady, you were forged steady. Somewhere in your history, probably earlier than it should have been, you learned that nobody was going to come and hold things together for you. So you learned to hold them together yourself. You became the reliable one, the calm one, the one who somehow manages when everything is falling apart. And people mistake that composure for ease. They think it comes naturally to you. They don't see the cost. They don't see the nights you spent terrified and alone figuring things out that no one your age should have had to figure out. But that crucible made you into someone who cannot be faked. You are the realest person in most rooms, and you don't even try to be. You carry something else that people miss entirely. You hold both sharp and soft at the same time. You can read a situation with surgical precision, see the lie, name the manipulation, identify exactly who is performing and why, and then in the very next breath, offer someone the most genuine kindness they've received all week. Most people are one or the other. The sharp ones become cold. The soft ones get taken advantage of, but you move between both frequencies so naturally that people don't even notice you're doing it. That duality is what made this person feel seen and terrified at the same time. Because you saw them, the real them, behind every wall they built, and instead of using it against them, you just loved what you found. Nobody had ever done that before. Nobody has done it since. And that's why people underestimate you. Because real doesn't look flashy, steady doesn't look exciting, you're not the loudest energy in the room, you're not the one demanding attention. You're the one sitting slightly off-center, watching everything, understanding everything, choosing carefully when and where to place your words. And people see that quietness and think you're passive. They think you're easy to leave. They think you're the kind of person who will wait patiently while they figure out what they want. And then they leave. And then they discover slowly, horribly, irreversibly what it feels like when your energy isn't in their life anymore. That's what happened to this person. They left, or they created enough distance that leaving was the only logical conclusion, and they expected it to hurt for a little while and then fade. That's how it works with everyone else. You grieve, you adjust, you move on, but you are not everyone else. And what they didn't understand is that when you give someone your genuine presence, not a performance, not a highlight reel, but your actual self, it imprints, it gets into their nervous system. It rewires what safety feels like, what home feels like, what honest human connection feels like. And once someone has experienced that, everything else tastes like water after they've had honey. I'm getting the number 8 very strongly around this situation. 8 is the number of karmic return. What goes around comes back intensified. It means the energy this person put out when they decided to leave or pull away is now returning to them multiplied. Every dismissive thought they had about you, every time they told themselves you were replaceable, every moment they chose their ego or their fear over what they actually felt, all of it is coming home. Not as punishment, as education. The universe is teaching them exactly what they had by showing them what every single thing after you feels like in comparison. And the answer is flat, boring, empty, wrong. I'm picking up the initials T or L connected to this person, and for some of you, it's a C or a B. If those initials hit, drop them in the comments immediately because this confirmation is strong. Now, let me get into what actually happened inside this person when they tried to get over you, because it wasn't one clean break. It was stages, and every stage failed worse than the last. The first stage was anger. They convinced themselves they were done because they turned the loss into your fault. They rewrote the story. They focused on your flaws, your mistakes, the things you said that hurt real or exaggerated. They needed you to be the villain because if you were the villain, leaving made sense. If you were just a good person and things didn't work out, then leaving was their loss and they couldn't sit with that. So they built a case against you in their mind, and for a few weeks it held. They were angry and righteous and certain they made the right call. And then the anger wore off, and underneath it was just missing you. Raw, undignified, embarrassing, missing you, missing your laugh, missing the specific way you'd look at them when they said something that genuinely amused you, that made them feel like the funniest person alive, missing how it felt to be known by you, not admired, not impressed, known. You saw the parts of them they didn't show anyone and you didn't flinch. And now they're surrounded by people who only know the curated version, and the loneliness of that is destroying them. The second stage was replacement. They went looking for you in other people, and this is the part that humiliates them the most. They'd meet someone new, and within the first 20 minutes, they'd be unconsciously comparing, does this person listen like you listened? Do they notice small things the way you noticed? Is the silence comfortable or just empty? And every single time, every time the answer was no, not even close, they'd sit across from someone attractive, interesting, available, and feel absolutely nothing because their body had already been calibrated to your frequency and everything else registered as noise. One of them, and this is the part they will never admit to another living soul, one of them almost said your name mid-conversation with someone else. Your name almost came out of their mouth like a reflex, like their subconscious couldn't maintain the pretense for one more second. They caught it just in time, but the shame of that moment, the realization that they were physically incapable of being fully present with anyone who wasn't you, that's when the performance started cracking. I'm getting strong Virgo and Sagittarius energy around this person, and for some of you, the person is Gemini or Libra, air and earth. Someone who lives in their head, overanalyzes everything, and uses logic as a shield against feeling things fully. That's why they thought they could intellectualize their way out of wanting you. They thought if they made a rational decision to move on, their heart would follow. Their heart did not follow. Their heart stayed exactly where you left it in your hands, and no amount of logic could retrieve it. For some of you, I'm picking up physical details. Someone with strong shoulders and a jaw that clenches when they're holding something back. Dark hair, for most of you, thick, the kind you'd want to touch. For others, it's lighter, sandy, or reddish, with eyes that shift between warm and distant. depending on who they're talking to. There's something about their voice, low, certain, a little rough around the edges, the kind of voice that sounds different when it says your name versus anyone else's. You've noticed that? So have they? The third stage, the one they're in right now, is surrender. The fight is over. They lost. And they know it. They're not angry anymore. They're not performing anymore. They're just sitting in the full weight of the realization that you are the person and there's nothing they can do about it. That understanding hit them like concrete, not gently, not gradually. One night, they were lying in the dark and the truth just landed on their chest. I'm not getting over this person. Not in 6 months, not in a year, not ever. This is the one that stays. And instead of fighting it again, something in them just gave up. Not in a hopeless way, in a relief way. Like they'd been swimming against a current for months and they finally stopped and let it carry them. And the current is carrying them straight back to you. And they're not even embarrassed about it anymore. That's the shift. In the beginning, the idea of going back to you felt like failure, like admitting they were wrong, like losing a battle they swore publicly they would win. But now they don't care about winning. They don't care about their pride. They don't care what their friends think or what narrative they built or how it looks. The only thing they care about is whether you'll still have them. And that singularity of focus, that willingness to look foolish for you, is the first honest thing they've felt since they left. They've been imagining what reaching out would feel like, not the big dramatic conversation, the first 10 seconds, the sound of your voice when you answer, the pause before you respond, whether you'd be warm or cold or somewhere in between. They've rehearsed it 100 times in their head. They type messages and delete them. They draft explanations that never get sent. They drive past places connected to you and their hands tighten on the steering wheel. This person is in agony and it is entirely self-inflicted and they know it. And here's what makes it worse. They don't just miss the big moments. They miss the nothing moments. They miss the way you'd hand them a glass of water without being asked because you noticed they were thirsty before they did. They miss how your feet would find theirs under a table without either of you looking down. They miss the sound of your breathing when you fell asleep first, that specific rhythm that became the only lullaby their brain responded to. They miss you humming while you did something mundane. They miss the way you'd squeeze their hand twice, not once, twice like a secret code neither of you ever named. Those tiny moments are what haunt them. Not the passion, not the drama, not the big declarations, the quiet, invisible architecture of being with you that they didn't notice until it was gone and now they would trade anything to get it back. And the physical, I need to be direct about this because it's coming through so strongly. They think about being close to you in a way that is not casual. They remember exactly how your body fit against theirs, the specific temperature of your skin, the way you breathe differently when they were near you. Slower, deeper, like their presence was something your lungs recognized. They think about the last time they were truly close to you, and they replay it with an attention to detail that borders on obsessive, the exact angle of your face, where their hands were, what you said right before and right after. This person has a photographic memory of you specifically, and they cannot delete the files, no matter how hard they try. I keep getting the number 3 pulsing through this reading. 3 is divine timing and creative rebirth. It means this situation, all of it, the leaving, the failing to move on, the humiliating return, is not random chaos. It's orchestrated. Something needed to happen in both of you before this could work the way it's supposed to. You needed to learn that you can survive without them. They needed to learn that surviving isn't the same as living. Both lessons required separation. Both lessons are now complete. If this is hitting you right now, I need you to drop the words "they lost" in the comments. Like this video right now and subscribe because what we do in here is not available anywhere else and I need you here for the next one. Now, I need to tell you something about what's been happening in your life while this person was busy losing their battle because you didn't freeze, you didn't shrink. Something in you took all that energy you used to pour into that connection and redirected it. A creative project that's been sitting dormant suddenly started moving. A career opportunity appeared that felt aligned in a way nothing has in a long time. Your finances shifted, maybe not dramatically yet, but the anxiety around money loosened just enough for you to notice. You started taking care of yourself differently, eating better, sleeping better, moving your body, not because someone told you to, because your spirit demanded it. Your glow up wasn't a revenge strategy, it was a natural consequence of reclaiming your own energy. And it's visible. Everyone around you has noticed. This person has noticed. I need to tell you something about the specific way they've been watching your transformation because they are watching, they check, they look, they notice every new photo, every shift in your energy, every indication that you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And every piece of evidence that you're doing well without them is simultaneously the thing that attracts them most and the thing that terrifies them most. Because your glow tells them two things at once, that you are more magnificent than they ever gave you credit for, and that you might not need them anymore. And that second realization is the one that wakes them up at 4 in the morning in a cold sweat. Not that you might reject them, that you might genuinely be fine without them, that you might look at them when they come back and feel nothing. That possibility haunts them more than anything else in this situation. I'm getting Taurus and Cancer energy around you. Deep, nurturing, fiercely loyal earth and water. You don't love casually. When you're in with everything. And when you pull back, the absence is tectonic. That's what this person is experiencing. A tectonic absence. A U-shaped hole in the center of their daily life that nothing and nobody has been able to fill. And now they're moving toward you. I need you to hear that clearly. This is not wishful thinking. I keep getting the image of someone standing outside a door with their hand raised, terrified to knock, knowing they might get turned away, deciding to knock anyway, because the alternative, a life where they never try, is worse than rejection. That door is you, and they're about to knock. And I need to tell you about the jealousy because it's eating them alive right now. During the time they were pretending to be over you, they watched your life continue without them. And every time someone new appeared near you, a comment from someone they didn't recognize, a photo where you looked happy in a context they weren't part of, a mention of a name that wasn't theirs, something physical happened in their body. Their stomach dropped, their chest constricted, their fingers went cold, and the rage that followed wasn't directed at you or even at the other person. It was directed entirely at themselves because they know they chose to leave. They know this is their doing. And the punishment of watching someone else potentially receive what they threw away is a specific kind of hell that they built with their own hands and now they have to live in it. But here's what I need you to understand before that happens. You are not the same person they left. You are not the version of you that was waiting, hoping, checking their social media at midnight, replaying their last words, and wondering what you did wrong. That version served its purpose, and it's gone. The person standing on the other side of that door now is someone who rebuilt themselves from scratch. Someone who learned their own worth the hard way by surviving the absence of someone who was supposed to see it without being told. You are stronger now, clearer, less willing to accept crumbs from someone who once held the whole meal in their hands and threw it away. So when they come back, and they are coming back, you get to decide. Not from desperation, not from loneliness, not from the muscle memory of old love. You get to decide from the place of power you built while they were busy losing a war they started. You get to choose whether that door opens. And whatever you choose, it will be right. Because you've earned the clarity to make that call. The number one keeps flashing. One is new beginnings, fresh starts, not going back, going forward into a version of this connection that didn't exist before because it couldn't exist before. Both of you had to break apart to become the people who could actually do this right. And that's what's being offered now. Not a reunion, a reinvention, a chance to build something on the foundation of everything you both learned in the dark. You are not someone's second choice. You are not a backup plan someone returns to when the adventure disappoints them. You are the destination they were too foolish to recognize when they were standing in it. And now that they see it, now that they see you with the kind of clarity that only loss can teach, the question isn't whether they want you. They've answered that with every failed attempt to forget you. The question is whether you still want to let them in. And only you get to answer that. Nobody else. Not them, not the universe, not this reading, you. Okay, I need you to go receive this now. Stop overthinking it. Stop talking yourself out of it. This is coming for you and you deserve it, period. If this hit like this video right now, share it with your person, subscribe because I am literally always in here dropping something, and comment below because I read every single one and I want to know who this is about. Okay, go. I love you. Bye.